Hey everybody, this is Chris Lumen from Graves Technology. I'm doing a little screen capture, a little video going over all the things that we talked about during our presentation on February 12th, going over Google Apps and Google Drive. I wanted to do a video so be able to go back later and fast forward and rewind and go back and stop at different parts that you thought were interesting and to be able to share with more people. If you have any questions, I've added my email address on this main slide here. So feel free to email me with any questions, comments, or something else that you would like to see or help me or have me go through and help you to kind of learn the Google ecosystem a little better. Right now, we're going to go through Google Apps, very similar to the presentation that I gave last week. We're going to start with Google Drive. I want to go over what Drive is and then how you can access it and then how you can save things to it and things like that. I want to go over Google Apps and how it's pretty similar to a lot of the things that you've already been using, how it's very similar to a lot of Microsoft Office apps and a lot of things like Word and PowerPoint and Excel and stuff that you've probably used for a while. After that, I'm going to go briefly into some tips and tricks with Gmail and how you can use that to send emails and to start sharing things and access your calendar directly within an email. And then I'm going to go through a live demo, like I said, and show you how all of this works and really what it looks like. So by the time you get it on your computer, it'll be familiar to you, at least a little bit enough to where you'll be a little comfortable to be able to go in and start working with things yourself. Google Drive is where everything is located. Think of it as your starting point. From Google Drive, you can create files, you can access files that you've saved from your computer, you can access files that have been shared with you. Really, the reason it's called Google Drive is because it really is just like a hard drive. But instead of like a USB stick, something you just plug into your computer, it has it on a website. And you can get to that whenever going to drive.google.com right here, drive.google.com. But you can also get to it through another apps icon that I'll show you in just a minute. But like I said, you can always go to drive.google.com and then be able to sign in using your school email account or your personal email account, whichever you have it set up as. And from there, you can go in and get all of your files really anywhere on any device that connects to the internet. Anything from an iPad, an Android phone, an iPhone, a laptop, a Chromebook, a Mac. I mean, really anything that has the internet. Um, it also has a file sync, very similar to Dropbox. And what it does, it just makes a folder on your computer, and anything you put into that folder syncs up to Drive, up to Google servers. And anything you upload to Drive will go in and sync to that folder on your computer. So it's very much like Dropbox. It really is just a folder you can just drag and drop things in and out of to be able to save locally and also sync onto the cloud. So you'll have it no matter what. So you can have it at home, you can have it on your Chromebook at school, you can have it on your desktop at school, you can have it on your iPad. That's where it's always in one place just by having to drop it into that folder. And then these are the different Google apps and then how they compare to Microsoft Office. The main one that I think most people use is going to be for word processing, writing papers, writing lesson plans, writing up tests. I mean, anything you want to use just a regular word processor for. Google Docs is the Google version. As you can tell, this blue logo is very similar to the blue Microsoft Word logo. That's done very much intentionally. That's done very much on purpose. They want it to be a pretty smooth transition from one to the other. You can save a Word file and put it into Docs, and you can save a Doc file and put it into Word. It doesn't matter. And that goes the same for spreadsheets, for Google Sheets, or Microsoft Excel. Again, they're both green and go back and forth. They mix it up with the icon for slides a little bit, but the same things for presentations and stuff. And this is done completely on a Google slide right here. And Google Slides is the exact same as Microsoft PowerPoint, but it's just part of the Google apps as opposed to Microsoft Office. And then Outlook, which I'm sure you've used before for email, for calendar, for things like that. They break it up between Gmail and then Google Calendar. The main difference between these two application types, between the Google apps and then Microsoft Office, is that Microsoft Office are apps, they're called local apps. And what that means is in order to use a Microsoft Word file or to write a paper or to open up a spreadsheet in Excel, you have to have Office installed on your computer. And that's why it's called local. It has to be on your local machine. It can't be on a remote system. It can't be anything else. It needs to be installed on your machine. So it's local. The alternative is Google Apps are called Cloud. And all Cloud means is that instead of being installed on your computer, it's installed on a server somewhere else. So you just access it remotely. So they call it the cloud because it's far away. It's not necessarily with you. But it kind of rains down data on you. So you upload things up to the cloud, and you can always access it going to drive.google.com or through an app launcher that I'll show you in just a second. All right, right now, I want to go through and completely sign out of this and show you exactly what it looks like from the beginning. So I'm going to make a new little window. This is exactly what it looks like when you open up a new tab in Chrome. It just has a regular Google thing. So I'm just going to go to google.com. Okay, so it takes me to Google, and then click sign in. I'll sign in. And it looks almost the exact same, but the difference over here is I see my little login icon. It may be a picture of you, maybe something set by your school. For us, it's our company logo. You go over here to this little square, and this is a little app launcher. From here, you can hit this, and it'll bring up a list of some of your apps. And these are the main ones that people use, but you could always hit more, and there are more, and then from there, you can even hit even more, and there are even more that you can get into. But right now, we want to keep it simple, so we want to focus and just go directly to Drive. So from here, like I said at the beginning, just click on this little app launcher here, click that, go down to Drive, and it'll open up Drive. From here, you can see the files that I already have stored. There's really not much here. The default view, I think, looks like this. It's where you go through it and it has like a display view where you can see the title of everything, who the owner is, when it was last changed, and the size of the file. You can also click this button here and go to grid view, and it'll change it to where you can see it like regular icons, like would more like look like on a folder, like a Windows or a Mac machine. You can always go back, toggle that right there, and go back to list view. From here, imagine that I'm a science teacher, and another one of my science teachers is out today. So I have to go through and then take her lesson plan and edit it, or need to go and edit it, so the substitute knows a little more information about what they're trying to be teaching and going over today. So in this folder over here, I have two files. Here it is. I have a regular Microsoft document, Microsoft Word document. So I just saved it in Microsoft Word. There's no special formatting. There's nothing special about this file. I can double click it, open it up in Word, and here it is. And I have my Word file directly within Word. I can go in and edit it the way we always have in Word. But I want to make it to where other people can see it and where I can share it more easily with my substitute. So from here, I want to left click on it and then just drag it and just drop it directly into Docs. From there, it uploads. And then what I want to do, I can just double click on it. And if you double click on it directly, what it does is it opens up a view showing you what the file is. Google Drive and Docs isn't able to edit Word files and things directly because they're in different formats. So what I want to do to open it in the Google Doc format, I can at the top, this little drop-down arrow, open with, click there, and then click Google Docs. But instead of going from there, on this main menu here, accept that. This main menu here, I can see that it's still the W, so it's a Microsoft Word file. Right-click on it, open with Google Docs. And what this does is it opens up a new tab in my browser over here. And in this new tab, it opens up this document. And this document is in the Google Docs version. So if I go back to Drive, I go and I can see my original Word file. Is it still uploaded and nothing's changed with it? I can always download that and share that later, and it's the original file. I haven't changed anything with it. But it also has the Google Docs version right below it. And it just has the little blue sheet icon other than the W for Microsoft Word. From here, it looks like Ms. Reed wants to talk about Doppler radar and the Doppler effect today. Well, it's been a while for our sub to remember what the specifics of radar are, especially if you're trying to go in and explain it to people who haven't really heard much about it. So I want to highlight the word radar because that's the word that I want to look into, and then just right click it. And when you right click it, these different options can come up. But right now I just want to go to define to see what radar means. So we can click define radar, and over off to the side, it'll put up a side sheet and it'll break down how the syllables are, how it's pronounced. We'll see that it's a noun, and it has a brief description or definition of radar. And that's pretty cool. It's really convenient to be able to get to it directly within Docs without having to go elsewhere, without having to open up and Google something in a whole different window. It just keeps it all in one place, and it's really convenient. So that's really cool. So I feel a little better now that I know a little more about radar, but going through these concepts, the second one just says the Doppler effect, just says Doppler effect. It doesn't say anything about what I should do with it or how to teach it or what it is. So I want a little more information than just the definition. So I'm going to highlight Doppler effect and just hold down the left mouse button and just scroll over it. And again, highlight the Doppler effect and then right click that and go down and click research. Over on this side, instead of opening up like this, it opens up a little research window. The top has pictures, so I can go through and see what the Doppler effect is like. And I could just drag and drop them over here, but really I want to get more information than pictures because this is going to be a lesson plan, so I want to get more information than just making it pretty. So from here I can go and see the different links that this search came up with. And these buttons down here that show up right as you just put your mouse over here, that'll show up, there's a little preview button. You can click preview and it'll open up the website right over here. That's a little small, so I'm going to click anywhere here and it'll open that in a new tab. This looks pretty good. This looks like it's really informative, but it also has an animation showing what the blue shift and the red shift in the back looks like. And that's a lot more easy to understand and visualize than just saying, well, as something moves, it compresses the waves in front of it and then stretches them out at the end. Because that's a little difficult to grasp. So having all of these graphs here will probably make it much more easy to understand. So I really want the sub to be able to go through and read this overview before teaching this. So I'll go back over here, and instead of clicking preview this time, I want to click cite. When I click cite, that adds a little 1 to the end of Doppler effect and creates a footnote. And then at the bottom, this footnote is right here. It says the name of the article, the name of the website, the original date the article was published, the date that I accessed it, and the URL or the link to the website. So it's a great way to come in here and then show the information that I've looked up and make it easily accessible for later. From here, I want to share this with the sub. So I'm going to go over here. I'll do that again to show you a little more slowly. Go over here, in the top right-hand corner, this big blue share button. Right now, it's private only to me because it's just my document. So I can click on share. I want to make sure that they can edit it because I want them to be able to edit and make comments and change things. But if I don't want that, I can click that down and then change edit to comment permission, where they can only make comments and suggestions, or go down to can view, to where they can only view it. They can't change anything about it. I want to keep it as edit right now, so they can come in and change things. And then I'll add their email address, and I can add a quick note saying, hey, this is the lesson plan for today. I can click send, and then they'll get an email and a notification that has been shared with them. Okay, and when someone else opens up the document, as I'm trying to do right now, okay, and as someone else opens up the document, you'll be able to see this little icon up here show up, and then you'll be able to know that someone else is viewing this document. You can mouse over it, and it'll show you who is viewing it, and you can click on that, and it'll bring up their contact information. If you want to speak directly to them, the little button right to the right of their name, you can click that, and it'll bring up a little chat window. And say, hey, thanks for looking at this for me. And then they can type back, no problem. So you can go through and then message back and forth and then talk about whatever you're talking about and what you're editing directly within this Google Docs page. So it keeps everything all in one place and keeps it really convenient. I also want to be able to go over here and make sure they look at my footnote. So I'm going to move my mouse over to the right side of the page, and this little comment bubble comes up. I click comment. Oh, you spell please write. Please read my footnote. Check out that page. So to add that comment, and they'll get notified of the comment on their screen, and then they'll be able to reply and say, I will. Thank you. And just so you can see both of what I'm doing, here we go. So you can see their comment, I will, thank you. And as they reply, I instantly, over on my screen, see it as well. Cool. I just wanted to bring their screen over so you can see what it looks like on the other person's screen too. So they can go through and say, hey, and then I'll get their problem. I'll get their messages. All right, well, good. I'm glad my sub's been able to go through and research up on radar and research up on Doppler effect. I left them a note to make sure that they go through and check out the link down here. So hopefully by the time they teach this class, they'll know a little more than they did going in and feel a little more comfortable having to explain it rather than just giving a quick overview or just handing out papers that the teacher has done before. Well, good. That's awesome. After this, I want to edit a spreadsheet that I made last night for my biology class. So over here, I have an Excel spreadsheet that is just a regular Excel spreadsheet. There's nothing fancy about it. Again, I didn't change any formatting. Nothing's different at all. And the same thing, I can just hold down the left mouse button and drag and drop it over here. And it uploads it, puts it right here. And the same thing, I can just right click on it, go to open with, and then Google Sheets, because instead of being a word processing document, it's a spreadsheet. So I can click Google Sheets. It does the exact same thing that it did with the Word file into Docs. So from here, it opens up in a new page. It converts it to a Google Sheets format, and it keeps the original file directly as it was. So you can hear and see the original Excel file. Nothing's changed, nothing's been edited, but there's this Google Sheets version. That's the second one right here. And then from here, you can see different spreadsheets and different charts that I built last night in Excel. I'm not so hot, not so good with building Excel spreadsheets, so they're a little lackluster. They're not overly informative. They're not very pretty, and they really don't convey much information. They're not really appealing, and they're not really great for what the data is trying to show. One thing that's amazing in Google Sheets that Excel hasn't been able to do yet is whenever you can go into data or anywhere that you have any core numbers in an Excel table or in a spreadsheet table, just click somewhere where any of the numbers are, and then in this bottom right-hand corner, this Explore window comes up. This little green icon lights up, and so we can go in and click on it. If you click on that, it'll auto-generate different types of charts that it thinks that would fit this data type. I think these charts look so much better than the ones that I tried to do in Excel. This one specifically, I think, looks really good. So I'm going to click on that, and then click Insert Chart, and it inserts the chart directly into the document. I can move it around as if it were a picture. I can resize it. I can reshape it. I want to change the title. I can go in and say, this is a great chart. And it just changes it, just as easy as that. It auto-generates both a legend and an axis label, but anything you can go in and feel free to edit it just by double-clicking on it and go through and change whichever you'd like. All right, so I just wanted to insert this chart briefly so they would be able to see it a little better than just looking at my previous charts that were pretty bland. But I wanted to show you just how easy and how quickly it is to go in and make charts and really do some interesting things with data, much more than just going over a spreadsheet table. That's not necessarily overly fun, but doing it this way makes it a lot more interesting and a lot more dynamic. You feel like you're much closer with the data, so you can actually go away understanding a lot more too. Okay, well, I've gotten all this done, so I want to go through and check my email. I'm sure something's come up, something always comes up, so I want to check it out. So go back to this little drive icon right up here. I can click the Google Apps and then go down here and go to Gmail. It opens up Gmail in a secondary window, and a second tab right over here. And I'll see what I have. All right, it looks like someone wants to meet about a spreadsheet. Okay, well, good. That's awesome. I just put some graphs in it, so it'll be a great time for me to talk about it. And they want to meet either Monday or Wednesday. Well, if you scroll over Monday, you can see that little bar under the bottom. You can click on it, and it'll bring up a little view of what your calendar's like Monday. Monday, I'm supposed to be off Monday morning, so I have nothing before lunch, and then we have a mystery reader at 2. So I don't really know if I have time on Monday to do that, because I have class between that. But on Wednesday, let's see what Wednesday's looking like. Oh, I have a staff meeting in the morning, and then I have lunch, but I don't have anything after lunch. So I should be able to go in and meet at 1. That sounds awesome. So I'm going to just click add a time right here and scroll down to 1 p.m. And I want to change that question mark to an exclamation point. Yeah, I would love to meet about that spreadsheet. Okay, so you click add to calendar, and there it is. It puts it right in your calendar directly from here. So from here I can email back. That sounds perfect. Let's meet on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Thanks so much. That's awesome. So there, not only was I able to schedule a meeting, but really to be able to go through and see what my calendar looks like directly within my email. I don't have to change anything about it. And if you want to get someone to sync your Gmail calendar and your Outlook calendar, because I know a lot of people have Gmail for the students and Outlook for the teachers, just let us know, or let your IT supervisor or anyone in your company know, and we'll be able to go through and sync those calendars, so you'll be able to see all of your Outlook calendars within Gmail and within the calendar here, so you won't have to go and spend a lot of time populating it with your events and stuff. Okay. Okay, let's see, after that, I have another invitation to edit. So when someone shares a document with you, this is what it looks like. So I can go through and click on this. Hey, would you mind looking over my rough draft essay and let me know how it should be formatted? Thanks so much. Well, sure, I'd be happy to. So I can just click open in Docs, and it'll open up in a new tab, and it'll show me their paper. This looks good. This looks pretty good. Looks like they have 2 misspellings, but instead of editing this thing directly, because I really want the students to have to do this, my goal isn't to do it for them, but to teach them what and how to do it. So over in the right-hand corner, right up here, there's the editing mode. And that's the default mode for most documents. It's where you can go in and edit it yourself. But instead of that, I want to go into suggesting mode. I want to go in and make it to where they can go and see my suggestions, see the things that I would recommend, but to where they would have to apply it and they would have to do it later. So I'm going to switch to suggesting mode. Okay, and it looks the exact same except this little green icon over here. And I want to correct the spelling, but Drive is a great way, or Google Docs is a great way of correcting spelling. You just right-click over the word that's misspelled and say, "Did you mean?" And then boop, click Truly. And the same with price point. It should be 2 words. Go up here, click that. And then what happens is in the green color, so this green color over here, it'll go through and mark out the misspelling and then say what I replaced it with. And it'll go over here and add a comment saying what I did. I replaced truly with truly. And from there, I can say, oh no, apparently I don't know how to spell. You know how to spell. But I also want them to go, and this really should be double spaced. So I'm going to go through and highlight everything. And then this bar up here works the exact same way that the bar in Word does. If you were to change format styles, just click on styles and you can change it to a title, subtitle, headings, if you're for different formatting types. But also you have your fonts, go through and see all the different fonts that you have. Go in, change the size of anything. And if ever you forget what it is, just roll your mouse over it and it'll say what the fonts are. It's font size, bold, and it'll even have the little keyboard shortcuts if you want to go through and remember that Control-I is to put everything in italics. But for here, I want to make a double space. So I'm going to go over here, see which one it is the one right here, the lines with the arrows between them. So go here and click line spacing, and the default is 1.15. I'll push that down to double. Okay, so whenever you edit a big block like this, the edit will have your green mark at the end, and then your green mark at the very beginning saying that you edited everything between those lines. And here it says that I changed the formatting, I changed the line spacing, and I did it 6 times. The reason that it says 6 times is because I have 6 paragraphs. So remember to double space your papers. Perfect. Well, awesome. But I kind of want to know if he just copy and pasted this in or if he's been working on it. So whenever you make any changes, all of the changes are automatically saved. So up here it says all changes are saved into Drive. But if I want to go back and see previous versions or previous edits, I can just click onto that, and it'll bring up a revision history. And it'll bring up a history of when edits were made, by whom, and then all of the edits are color-coded. All of the edits that I made as this account are all showing up as orange, and then the edits that my friend made, Jim, is over here and are showing up in purple. And the edits that I made on a different account show up in green. So it color codes it based on the account that edited the file. So you can share it with an individual, or you can share it with a group, like if you have a group set up for each of your classes, and then each person within that group will each get their own color, and you'll each be able to go through and see who edited what, when they edited it. So you can go in and see, really, was the group paper sent in by one person, or did they really edit it together? Because it'll really show up just like this, and it'll all be highlighted in different colors showing who contributed what. That's a great way to really just directly see who's been working on it, who's been doing what. If ever you have to go offline, it's really simple. If you go offline, a little lightning bolt will show up over here, and then it'll save your changes on your computer locally. And then whenever you get back to the internet, it'll just sync your changes and then any other changes that anyone else has made onto your document. There's really no reason to be concerned about any changes overwriting any other changes, because not only can you go back and edit the document still, but you can always go up here and it'll say, look at the new changes, and you can see the changes that were made while you were gone and then the changes that you pushed when you went back online. So it's really flexible in terms of revision history. It's really flexible in terms of offline editing. It's really flexible in terms of editing with multiple people and making sure that you don't edit on top of each other. Because the worst case is that you do edit on top of each other, and then you can go through and separate when each person did what, and then break it down from there. And I hope you're comfortable going in and just kind of playing with it. There's really not much you can mess up. Go in, and I would really recommend just throwing in some documents you already have, uploading a lot of files you already have. You can upload PDFs if you've used PDFs before, but anything like that, you can upload it and then use it in Google Drive and then be able to get to it from any device and really anywhere. So thank you. Thank you for going through and getting this information from me. And if you have any questions or anything, I'll bring my email address up again. But really, like I enjoy this stuff. I enjoy teaching this stuff. There's a lot of things you can do with it, and there's a lot of stuff that you can do to make your life easier. So here again, my contact info. I'm with Graves Technology. We work a lot with the schools. And really, just send me an email. Send me an email and ask me a question. Say, hey, can you explain this? Or hey, can you show me a demo of this? And I'll be happy to make a video just like this for you and just be able to go in and make something, explaining something that you would like to know. Moving forward, I think we're going to get into more Google Apps topics, and I'm really excited to help. So just let me know what you'd like, and I'll be happy to help with you. All right, if you have any questions, again, just email me. My name's Chris.